Okay, I guess we can start. 6 o'clock, almost. So, hello guys. Hope you hear me and see me correctly. Yeah. And last time, basically, we started to talk about the science, and today we'll continue, and we're going to start with these additional panels, and finally we'll talk about the road markings as well. So it will be also quite important. And also, if you have made the test before that, maybe we can check the answers today. So we check together. You can also make it at home anyway. So you will see the correct answers. And we discuss it. I think you have passed already. Okay, it was only one test, I guess. So we will check the one only. If you have made the second one, also can check the second one. So it's not a problem. And okay, then we can begin. So last time we talked about this parking and standing prohibited sign, for example, or speed limit sign. So sometimes you can see that they have additional panels like this. So this additional panel applies for the sign only if it's under the sign. So some people think if this additional panel here and some another sign is here, so this additional panel applies for both of the signs, but actually it has to be under it. So I guess it's more or less clear. Maybe I even can show you the example where exactly we can see this situation. One of the exam road places, it's near Muslima. Let me show you. Yeah, and it should be here, this street. Okay, not a little bit far. For example, this one. So when we come here to this place with the students, I usually ask them for how long this 30 is valid. As you remember from the previous lessons, if you just have a casual 30 sign, it will be cancelled at the next crossroad. So after the crossroad, you can go 50. But some students still think that this 150 sign is valid for 30 as well. And as you understand now, it's actually not. This 150 sign is valid only for this one. So be careful, children ahead, can be ahead, because it's school nearby. So only for this sign it's valid. For 30, it's not valid. It means that 30 will be cancelled at the first possible crossroad, and then after that you can drive 50. So that's the logic. And we should now understand the logic of the signs. So some of them have arrows on the left and on the right side, and some of them don't have. I will also show it here. Let me check. It should be okay, maybe we'll come to that later. So, and the main difference between them, so this one means that next 100 meters, this 30 is valid, 30 speed limit. And After 100 meters, basically you can drive 50. So easy way to remember that. If you don't have arrows on the left and on the right side, it means after 100 meters, this 30 is starting to be valid. That's the main point. And the same logic for these signs. For example, no standing, no parking. It means before the sign, 10 meters, you cannot park or stand. Or if you see the sign like this, it means after the sign, you cannot park or stand 10 meters, next 10 meters. If you don't have any indication, distance indication like here, it means before the sign until the crossroad, basically the sign is valid. Validation of this zone starting from the sign, and then you have to go basically back until the first crossroad, and it still will be valid during this period. And this one, like after the sign and before the sign until the next crossroad, the same logic. I will show you the example again here. Like now you can see. So before the sign, it's valid. After the sign, it's not valid anymore. So like you see here, car can park. After the sign and before the sign, like this. And if you don't have any additional panels, it means it's by default valid after the sign until the next crossroad. Is it clear? Yeah, that's good. Now we have distance validation. After the sign, next 10 meters, it's valid. After that, it's not. And the same here. So before the sign, 10 meters, it's valid. So it means after the sign, we can park. If there is no additional panel, by default, it will be valid after the sign until the next crossroad. So here, these signs are basically indicating you that after 100 meters, you will see the dividing strip in the middle. So you have to overtake it from the right side. And you see now we don't have arrows on the right or on the left, so it means after. The same indication here. So in front you will see the dividing strip, so you have to move a little bit to the right and you can pass it easily. Or you can pass it from the both sides. So this sign is allowing you to do that. So place for electric car charger and traffic light maximum cycle length. So sometimes if you think that traffic light is not working and it's red light already for a long time, so some signs, some traffic lights have this additional panel, so it can work until 3 minutes even. So red light can be working for 3 minutes. Usually it's around 30 seconds or maybe a little bit more, but yeah, some places they have more than like 30 seconds. They can be even 3 minutes. So the same direction of effect of application, like to the right or to the left or both sides. Direction of priority road here. Also on the first or second lesson, yeah, on the previous lesson we talked that if you see main sign here, main road sign, this yellow one, it means you have a main road and your main road is going right, so you have full priority to go right. Yeah, and other crossroads that intersect with the main road, they have secondary. They don't have priority in that case. They are secondary roads because they're thin. This one is kind of fat in that case. So it's very easy to define it. Sometimes you can see this sign. It means give way to the cyclist, but only if you have additionally a give way sign. If you see just only this sign, it means cycle track ahead, so you can be careful, but still you don't have to give way to the cyclists. This sign means oncoming cycle traffic on one-way road. So we have a one-way road. Basically all vehicles have to go in one direction, but cycles, they have a possibility to go in oncoming direction, so you have to consider that. and two-way cycle traffic. These ones are the most popular, actually, I can say. They mostly used for parking areas. Maybe you have noticed in the city, like it's a lot of them. And for example, this red one means this sign applies only on holidays or some red days of calendar. For example, Christmas. Yeah, so this sign will be applied also then. Working days. So if you have two hammers, and it can be the name of the day, like esmaspäev means Monday. And for example, if you see no standing, no parking sign, and then under it will be esmaspäev, it means you cannot park and cannot stand only on Mondays in this area, or all other days you can. So time of validation starting from 8 o'clock till 5:30. After that you can park, for example. This here you can see the combination. So on holidays and red days of calendar, for example, you cannot park or stand starting from 8 till 8. After that you can. And the same with the working days. And the same with the daytime. Day of the week, sorry. And oops, not this slide. This one. For example, this sign will also have its kind of popular place on the exam road also. You can see, if you remember, this sign means mandatory direction right only. Yeah, so we cannot turn left on this crossroad, right? And here we have an additional panel. So maybe you can tell me what it means then. So you can turn right only, then hammers means, you remember? Okay, I will help. So basically, you can turn right only on working days, starting from 9 till 7 in the evening. So means after 7 and before 9 on working days, you can turn left also. So this is how it works. Yeah. And obviously on holidays you can turn any direction because this sign applies only on working days. So is it clear? Yep, that's good. Then we'll observe again this priority signs and situations on road. I forgot to ask the chat. The previous example was clear for you with this mandatory right turn. If not, then you can ask the question here. I will answer it. So we get back to this priority signs. You remember that yellow one means main road sign. This triangle means give way sign. Stop means fully stop and give way. And usually they have an additional panel also. So you can see where exactly the main road goes. So somebody is helping. You can drive only on the working day. Yeah. Let's check again. Yeah, it basically, once again, it means we have to go right on working days starting from 9 till 7. After that, we don't have to. We can go any direction. Yeah, so this sign means mandatory direction. Okay, let's get back to this. And here you can see that the real example. also on one of the roads we have. So giveaway sign we have, and you see that we are located on this thin stick. It means we are on the secondary road. We don't have priority in that case. So priority road is this one, correct? So they have priority. I have giveaway sign, obviously. Additionally, I see on this sign that they have priority road, so I just can stop here and give them away. But what should you do if I go here, I want to go straight, and for example, one more car coming here, and then this car goes also the same direction. We both have secondary road, so I have it, and the road on the right, you see, according to the sign, they also have a secondary road. In that case, what should we do? And the answer is very easy. So if we have the same priority or non-priority sign, right-hand rule applies. So I give a way to the right coming car. This is the thing we observed on the first lesson, I guess. So right-hand rule applies always when you have the same priority with another road. And I give way to the right coming car. Is it clear? Yeah, that's good. And the same situation described in this picture, basically. Yeah, so this car has to give way and this car has to give way. So how we need to solve this problem, this situation? I give him away because he's on the right side of my car. Of course, we have to consider that I'm driving this car. So all clear with this one? Nice. Okay. So, and again, 30 speed limit, next 100 meters is valid. So after you pass this 100 meters, you can drive 50 again if you are in the city area. I will remind you that by default in all cities of Estonia, it's 50 by default. If you are not in the city, by default, it's 90. Here also, we have an example. No standing, no parking. It means we cannot stand and park before the sign because we have this additional arrow, so we basically can park after that. Here we have both directions, so after the sign and before the sign, we cannot stand and park. So obviously on this side, we cannot do anything. This arrow, on the first lesson, on the second lesson, sorry, on the previous one, we observed this one, and you remember that it's no entry for all the vehicles, and this sign applies only if you turn right. So it means vehicles cannot enter this road. We can go only straight or left in that situation. So try to remember these arrows and things because they can some questions can be on the exam. They can be connected with the signs. Let's try to see this picture correctly. So maybe if it's do you see it, by the way? All clear? Yeah, nice. So here we have combination of additional panels actually. So it means mandatory straight. This sign applies on working days only, starting from 8 till 5:30. And value arrow means except buses. So buses can turn any direction they want, any day they want. This sign is not applying for them, but it applies for all other vehicles, obviously. So if you are driving a car, it means you can go straight only on working days starting from 8 till 5:30. After this time, or before this time, you can also make a left turn here. The reason is they put this one because it's a very difficult crossroad, as you see. It's a lot of cars here usually, and it's hill. So if we want to make a left turn, we also have to give way, obviously. But it's always hard to see how many cars are coming out of the hill. That's why they put this sign. Because after 5:30, there is no so much traffic jams and stuff. So it will be easier to make this maneuver. So that's the logic of putting this kind of signs. And sometimes with the parking, you can see also some additional panels, like the way you should park on this parking slot. For example, if on the exam you will come to the parking area, and you will see that in this parking area you should park only like this. It means front parking. Then on the exam you also have to perform this front parking, even if the examiner will not ask you to do it with some other type. He can just ask you, okay, let's park here. Let's park in this area. So according to the sign, you have to make this parking correctly as the sign requested. And if you see this kind of signs and or this parking area, it means that only category A, B, or D1, it means motorcycles. B is the one you are studying right now, and D1 is the small truck. So only these categories can park in this area. So for example, trucks and buses and other vehicles cannot use it. One more term here. It should be shorter than 6 meters. So for example, in this area, you cannot park your car and having a trailer behind. And here comes, obviously, the third term, without trailers. Some of them you can see they are on the they are standing on something. Yeah, so basically it means it's a stone border. So you can park on the stone border, or like this, for example. This one is also quite tricky. On the exam, they use one parking slot sometimes. Where is located this sign? You can see this sign there, and it means parking with engine switched off only. So as soon as you finish your parking, you have to turn off the engine, and after that, examiner will check your parking. Yeah, it sounds weird, but really, if you don't do that, they really can fail you because you don't follow the sign rules, unfortunately. So try to follow these things also if you are driving on the parking. Usually it also means that if you park your car, of course, maybe you parked your car not correctly, and if you see that, you have some time to correct it. So if you have a possibility on the exam also, when you park your car, to go out of the car and check basically how you park. So while you're checking this, you don't have to turn it off. As soon as you finished like totally everything, you're sure it's like 100% correct and you parked it, in that case you have to switch it off. You don't have to switch it off every time you exit the car and check how you park. Yeah, so only the final corrugation. After this final corrugation, you just see that it's perfect, turn it off, and tell to the examiner that you're ready to pass this exercise. And after that, he will go out and check personally. So I think this one is clear. These ones are mostly used for the parking services also. And if you see this one, it means fee charging services. So it's paid parking. You have to pay for using this area. Paid parking starting from 8 till 6 o'clock in the evening. And here you can see you can use this area only for 30 minutes, only between this time of the period, and only if you are using this parking clocks. Yeah, maybe you have seen them. So every car has it. Yeah, so parking for disabled people only. So obviously you cannot use this area if you don't, if you are not disabled. So sometimes people on the exam, they don't see the sign on the parking slots, and they park there. So of course, immediately after that exam is failed. You cannot use special places, special parking slots, if it's not for, let's say, other people. And vehicle inspection site. So this is the place where you can make some car maintenance. This sign means parking time limit, so you can park only for 30 minutes. Here you can park only for 30 minutes starting from 8 till 6 o'clock. And here you can park for 30 minutes and only if you have parking clocks. So this kind of things we have. Here also a lot of different additional panels. This is the one we observed before, like välja arvatud. You can remember this saying because it's quite popular on the roads, like except, yeah? So except buses. So for example, no parking, no standing, välja arvatud this, it means basically buses can park in this area. So this one means this part of the road has the risk of icing, or like this risk of wet road, blind people on the road, lane indication. Sometimes you can see in the city especially that different lanes, for example, we have 4 lanes in one direction, and different lanes can have different speed limit even. And if you see a sign like this and it will be 30 and it's under, basically above your lane, it means in your lane you have to go 30. In other lanes you can drive with the speed which is default speed. It's 50 or 90, depends if you are in the city or not. So electric cable ahead. Usually you can see the signs if you are passing some railway crossings. Yeah, this information is more important for truck drivers because they have high vehicles, and that's why maybe if they have 5-meter height of the vehicle, maybe it's better not to pass this place and make a U-turn and do it somewhere else. The same with the width also. Risk of accident, so the place where accidents happen quite often. So these things you can try. Yeah, for example, also giveaway sign. It can be valid only for one lane only. So here we have a small test. We can try to observe it. So this one maybe you already remember. Maybe you can tell me what this sign means. The second one. Yeah. No, it's mandatory, right? During the working time starting from 8 till, yeah. During the working days. So holidays we don't consider. Yeah, yeah. The first one, maybe chat can help also so we can see the answers. So obviously we have a parking place. This sign means parking. Parking area. Coins, yeah, they look like coins. So coins means this is paid parking. And if it's paid, additionally we have one more information. We pay for it, but still we can park in this area only for 30 minutes. This ones? Maybe, I know you didn't see the previous lesson, but maybe you can guess. Like, no left turn, the sign means.
Question for a parking is it additional 30 minutes
No, you can park. This parking is paid even if you park only for 30 minutes. Yeah, 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 and still you pay for that. So kind of street parking, you know. But this one, no left turn, an additional panel bus. So how do you think? It's not value auto, so it's not accept. Yeah, yeah. So basically, no left turn for buses. Yeah, yeah, correct. So basically, no left turn for everyone except buses. Yeah, so I see people are helping. Paid parking, yeah, that was correct. Buses cannot turn left, that was also correct. And here, everyone can turn left except cannot turn left except buses. 30, and this one, risk of accident. Basically, this is just not obliging you to do anything. It's just informing you that, okay, now you should drive 30 because this place is very risky. In this place, accidents happen a lot. That's why we put 30 speed limit here. Yeah, correct answer. Only buses can turn left, number 4 picture. Yeah, that's right. You can also try to answer for the next pictures. So we'll check. Slippery road. These signs I hope you observed during the homework I give you to watch. So warning sign, danger warning signs. Slippery road ahead, and white slippery because it's wet, because of rains. Maybe in this area it's a lot of rains, for example. This one, you remember the additional panel for cycles? So this one is one-way road ahead, so all directions in one way. But cyclists, they have two-way road. Yeah. And cycle road ahead, and it's two-way traffic for cyclists. So it means we have to follow this, of course. So you cannot drive on the right lane in oncoming direction. You have to choose the oncoming lane for that. So I will keep this picture for a while, and this one is clear. I hope so. If not, then we can observe it again. I guess the most difficult one here is this one and this one, especially parking. Okay, so maybe we can start with this road markings. So obviously we have different types of this lines, markings and stuff. And here we can see single continuous white line, or we can say solid line, white solid line, and double solid line or continuous lines, and comb line. So what is the point? Comb line, as you see, usually show you the border of the shoulder. So in that case, if it's on the shoulder, even if it's just solid like this, you can use it. You can cross it. So it's just the border of the shoulder. Usually it's not white. It's like this, very thin. The wider one you will see in the middle of the road. So these ones you cannot cross ever. And breakable lines like this you can cross, for example, for changing the lane. Double solid lines or casual solid lines in the middle you cannot cross. Maybe we can see some example. Yeah, like this. This is Tartu Tallinn road. And you see in the middle it's double solid line. You cannot cross it. And if you want to make any maneuver, like here, I want to turn left, for example, then I will have in the end a breakable line. And only in this place I can cross it and make my left turn, for example. On the right side we also have a solid line, but this line is indicating the shoulder. But shoulder you can cross. For example, if you have an emergency or something, or you just need to park your car. Of course, this one is quite short, so better not to do that here. It's quite high traffic volume, but still, if you need to park, you can use this place to park, and you can cross the solid line. Try to remember it. Sometimes we have combination with continuous and broken line. So basically it means that if on this side it's solid, on the right side it's breakable, you see. In that case, if it's breakable line on my side, I can cross it and make an overtaking, for example. But if you look at this picture otherwise, if we are driving on this side, we cannot make overtaking because we have solid line in that case. Yeah, wider marking is, if we look back here, sometimes you can see a wider marking like this one, breakable. This indicating that it is bus lane, or another thing, that this lane is ending soon. And as you see, it's really ending soon, so it's going right. After that, you don't have this lane anymore. So this is the indication for wider breakable lines. But we'll talk about that later today. Traffic islands. You can say them like, yeah, that's just island or something, separation island maybe. An island indicates the sections of the road prohibited for traffic. It is prohibited to cross the borders of this island. So sometimes people, if they need something or they just need a quick stop, they stop or park on this island and do their things. Actually, it's not allowed. It's just dividing the directions and showing you which direction you can go. And it's very easy how to remember. If you will see this question in your tests, they will ask you which, for example, directions divides this traffic island. Which direction? How to understand? One up, one down, or both up, both down. So you never know. So I can show you the trick which you can use. Here is the marker. I hope people will see it. Yeah. For example, you will have on the test this kind of a picture. So how do I know which direction the traffic goes? Very easy. I have to imagine the arrow here and here. So arrow shows me this direction, this direction. So it means this direction and this. Yeah. Yeah. So it's very easy. Okay, next time I will make the bigger drawing. I think it's too small for you. If it's not clear for you guys, I can make it bigger. Anyway, just let me know. Yeah. So Yeah, broken line with short strokes, the casual one. So of course you can cross it from both sides, doesn't matter. Just dividing the lanes and traffic volumes. Broken line with long strokes. You see, so they are longer than this one. It means that soon we'll start the solid line. So if you plan to make a maneuver, better to make it quickly because soon it will be the solid line. And as you already know, solid line you cannot cross. This one, as we already talked about that, wide breakable line. The line separates the public transport and cycle lane from the main lanes. So this is the bus lane as you see, and it's wider than casual one. So I'm calling. What are the difference between 1 and 3? You mean this picture? The difference is in marking. You can see it's even different marking here. Here, if you imagine the arrows, they go down. Here, if we try to imagine these arrows, they go up. So basically, this traffic goes like this on the third picture. On the first picture, traffic connecting. On the third picture, otherwise, it's dividing. So I hope I answered for your question. So, and the same road marking can be for cyclists. Also, it means we cannot use it for driving. So cyclists, they have priority in that case, and here buses have priority. So we cannot use these lanes for driving, only these lanes. So, and also you can see wide broken line here. And as you see as an example, this lane is ending. That's why it's wide. And it means you soon need to change the lane. Otherwise you get stuck somewhere. Here, double wide broken line. This is the only place we have this marking is on Gonsiori Street. Maybe you know it's in the city center. And they show you the variable direction of traffic. Maybe it's better to show you an example, I guess. So from the previous homework lessons, maybe you remember what exactly this variable direction traffic means. Let's check it. We need to go to the city center here. Yeah, this one. So just in case, let's remind you what exactly this variable direction traffic means. It means that this lane, some period during the daytime, is open in one direction, and some period in other direction. For example, in the morning, it's open from this direction to the city center. Yeah, so people can get to work easily. And after the lunchtime, it's opened in opposite direction, this way, from city center back to the Lasname region. And that's why this lane also have a special marking, so people can know that they are driving not casual lane, but the lane with the variable direction of traffic. So in some reason, if they made it wrong, they can get to the oncoming traffic, right? And for example, here you can even see the cross. It means you cannot use this lane in that direction. You can use it only in this direction. But as soon as you see the green arrow here, it means this lane is open in this direction, but in opposite direction it's closed. Is it clear? Good. If the lane is ending, it comes the question in the chat. In the case who needs to give way when the lane is ending? I guess you are talking about this picture. Of course, you have to give way. If you change the lane, you never have priority. I don't know how it works in other countries, but in Europe, mostly it works like this. So if you want to change the lane, you have to give way. Yeah, so other cars, if they don't change anything, they have priority. Okay, so with this variable direction of traffic, I guess should be clear for now. So they have special marking, and you can see how it looks like. And the only road I know in Tallinn, at least, we have there on Gonsiori. It's near to this Hilton hotel or something. Sometimes we also have yellow markings like this. So no standing line. So no parking, no standing. So even if you don't have a sign like this, but you just have a road marking, you still have to follow this rule. No parking, no standing. If it's like this, then it's only no parking, but you can make a quick stop standing. So public transport vehicle stop or bus stop, it's also will be marked with this zigzag yellow marking. Some indication for stop signs. We talked about that on the previous lesson, that if you have a stop sign, means you have to fully stop and give away. And sometimes you don't know where to stop. If you see this line, then obviously you have to stop in front of it. And this marking, yeah, you can see it a little bit before, will inform you just in advance. So just yeah, informing you, so you don't have to perform any maneuvers in that case. And the same with the giveaway sign. They can have different road marking, like this or like this, small triangles. So basically this is the place where you can stop and give away if you need. And this one also. Just give away and then you can continue driving. So different pedestrian crossing marking, like oncoming, incoming, so different directions, like this. This is the combination of different pedestrian crossings. So basically, one pedestrian crossing for both types, for pedestrians and for cyclists. Here, for example, it's divided. So pedestrians have to go here, bicycles have to go here. And you can see also this sign ahead. This one also indicating the pedestrian crossing, like this. And you can see there are quite, it's very hard to understand the difference between them, to remember the difference. But you see one is like longer, the one is shorter. And the shorter one is for cyclists. The longer one is for the pedestrians. And this question is definitely appears on the exam very often, I can say. So try to remember the difference. So the shorter for cyclists and the longer one for pedestrians. It's just one of the types of pedestrian crossings. So blue lines like this. You can see in the city center especially, it's a lot of them. It means if you park between these lines, it's by default paid parking. So you definitely have to pay for that if you park near this blue line. If it's red line, it means it's the area of 30 speed limit. So all roads in this area having 30. And again, I will remind you, even if you missed the sign, or maybe there is no such sign at all, you just see the road marking, you still have to follow this rule, because road marking also have, let's say, has a power in that case. If you don't have a sign, road marking also has a power. And if you see double red line, it means you are entering the calm traffic area. So this area. So here, these road markings, they are indicating different crossings areas. For example, crossroad, it's just indicating you the crossing area. That's it, and they can be different. But what is the actual difference between these markings? I personally do not know. It's not fully described in the Traffic Act. So they just can have different types, and that's it. So this marking is indicating the crossroad. You are passing the crossroad. So this is the crossroad. That's it. These signs you can see on different lanes, like we already saw on Google Maps before when we were talking about marking. Basically, if you are seeing this on the ground, it means that this lane goes only left, or only right, or this lane is going only straight. So basically, they are helping you to understand which direction your lane is going, and every lane will have different marking on the road as well. For example, from this lane you can make a U-turn. Here it's quite also interesting thing. It means on the first crossroad, if you go, you cannot enter the road, but on the second one you can turn left, because might be this one is the oncoming traffic, so you cannot enter there. And these signs are usually indicating that you are leaving the deceleration lane or acceleration lane, or you are entering the acceleration lane. Usually they are mostly used on highways. This cross, also very popular thing, and really helps you to understand what should you do on the crossroad if you don't have any other priority signs. Imagine you don't have any giveaway signs or main road signs or stop signs, but you have this cross on the ground. So what should you do? If you remember, this sign means that you are having same category crossroad ahead. If you have the same category crossroad ahead, it means right-hand rule applies. So you're entering this area, you see a car coming, you're not sure do you have to give way or not, but then you see the cross on the ground, and it will be easy for you to understand that you are having the right-hand rule in this place, on this crossroad. So you have to give him away. Clear? That's good. And here we have some, let's say, not so important markings, but still you should know about them. About these numbers, we talked about these numbers last time. They are indicating the road number or highway number. This obviously indicating the bus lane. This kind of a marking can be used in front of the pedestrian crossing. So as soon as you drive on it, you will feel vibration. So it will wake you up a little bit and like, hey, please decelerate a little bit. You're nearby to the pedestrian crossing. And the same like these lines. They also, as soon as you enter them, they are starting to vibrate. Yeah, and you feel that you have to slow down, and then you will give way to the pedestrians, for example. Also, one important thing here to add, uh, the same with the speed limit. So if you don't have a speed limit sign, yeah, post on the road, but you have it on the ground, you still have to follow this sign on the ground. So you cannot continue 50 anymore. You have to go 30. This one also very obvious. This is for pedestrian roads. Maybe on some pictures we even, yeah, for example here, pedestrian road, cycle road, and road for disabled people, for example. Only they can use this part of the road. You cannot use it if you are riding a bicycle or if you are a pedestrian. And this one, the last one, means I want to show you the example actually. Let's take any road, on the highway. For example, this one. Okay, not here. Maybe here. Yeah. So you can see everywhere on the highways, not mostly, let's say, you will have this post on the left side and on the right side, like this one and this one on the right side. I will try to make a closer look. Yeah, that's the perfect place actually. You see, on the left side you have 2 dots. On the right side you have stripes like this. Yeah, we can leave it like this. I guess it's visible. So what is the difference between them? How do you think, by the way? Not sure. But you can see that on the left side it's dots, on the right side it's stripes. Maybe it can help you to understand something. Yeah. So basically it indicates the left side, the most left side of this road, the border of the road you can see, and the right side of the border. So why it's important, especially at night, or especially if it's winter time like now, so all roads are covered with snow, so it's hard to understand where are you actually located. So these signs, they're actually very good reflectors also. So at night they are reflecting very high, and you can understand that, okay, now I'm on the right side, so I have to keep more closer to this spot, to this post, then I will be following my lane. Yeah, so it's very, very helpful. You see that some of them can be yellow or blue even. Okay, so yellow means that you are having some crossroad ahead, or you are having a bus stop ahead, so it's very easy for you to navigate at night, for example. And the blue one means that you're entering the house yard, for example. I guess, for example, if it's someone's house here, this post will be blue. So it's also indicating you that, okay, here you can enter, but you will enter to someone on like property. But here you can see it's yellow, yeah? So it's indicating the crossroad place or some intersection place. By default, they're all yellow usually. Okay, so maybe for now we can have 5-7 minutes pause and like coffee break or something, and then after that we'll check the answers for the previous lesson, for the test. I mean, I guess I should. So yeah, let's meet back here at 7:05. I will, meantime, I will add it. So how is it? Clear for you, more or less?
Yeah, good. It's the line I'm struggling a bit to remember.
Okay.
I mismatched them a bit.
If it will be still like problem, after that you can.
Yeah, let's do that.
Mm-hmm. And anyway, you'll receive a recording of that.
Yeah, okay. I appreciate it.
Mm. Yeah, we'll steal this one. By the way, if you want, you can find this test in the link and try to make it quickly. I don't know if you want, or I don't know, or we will check it together anyway.
Okay.
It's like only 6 or 7 questions there. So I guess you are ready. I have quite a lot of answers. Um, Here. Okay, no, it's it's answers. Okay, let's check here. So, is this a road? Obviously, yes. Maybe I will do it like this. Yeah. So, on the first lesson, very first lesson, we talked that cycle road or pedestrian road is also considered as a road. But the road for car, this part of the road that used for cars only, we call it carriageway, by the way. So, how many carriageways do you see here? 1, 2, or 4? How do you think? Yeah, 2 carriageways. This one and this one. Okay, Avjal, you have some problem with this carriageway understanding. Okay, maybe you can text me in WhatsApp personally so we can discuss it, or call me then, or something. If we consider this picture with the carriageway, we basically definitely have only 2, yeah, because it's divided by the dividing strip in the middle. So that's why we have 2 carriageway. If it's no dividing strip in the middle, then it's only 1 carriageway. Yeah. So if we delete this one, if we add one more here, it will be 1, 2, 3, 3 carriageways. If it's the question. So yeah, obviously it's answer 2. Or you can try to describe in the chat what exactly you don't understand about the carriageway, or you don't understand the carriageway crossings. It's also 2 different things. Okay, here I already showed you the answer. So how do you define a parking area? It's a road also. It's not area adjacent to the road. As you remember, area adjacent to the road, we consider gas stations, studying platforms, some factory access areas, and stuff like that. What is dividing strip? It's a green strip that separates carriageway and sidewalk. It's a physical barrier that separates carriageways, can be landscape. It's a road marking that separates the carriageway. So obviously it's not the road marking. So dividing strip has to be like a physical barrier. So the correct answer should be the second one. Dividing strip is the physical barrier that separates carriageways. It also can be landscaped, so it means it can be made out of the sand or something like that. So this crossroad is regulated or not? How do you think? There are 2 types: unregulated and regulated.
Which point of view of the car I'm thinking about?
Yeah, if you're driving the car.
Yeah. Yes, I guess.
So actually, no. The point is that crossroad is regulated only if you have traffic light on it.
Oh, yeah.
And if you have a policeman like who regulates it. But if you have only signs, it's not regulated then. Yeah. So the answer is no. Okay, Avjal, if you mean just carriageways, then you can describe your question more closely. For example, even on this picture, if we look, we also have only, if we look only on this road, yeah, with giveaway signs. In that case, we have one carriageway only because it's not dividing with this dividing strip. It's not divided, and totally we have two carriageways, and they cross each other. Yeah. On the second picture, we can see two carriageways in two different directions, and it's divided by the dividing strip in the middle. So maybe it will be easier for you to remember it like this. If it's divided, if the carriageway is divided inside by something, then you can count them as two carriageways, not one. So it should be divided. Okay. Which car will be the last if in that situation if passing the crossroad? Or I can say which vehicle. Of course, we don't have any signs and traffic lights, so we have to consider the right-hand rule. So who will be the last one? B, A, or C? How do you think? Try to think about every car separately, and that this car has to give way to the right coming one. If we consider the bicycle, if he has someone on the right side, who? It's empty. So C just go, okay? Yeah. So we don't have C anymore. A. You think so? Okay, let's try to let's consider this again. I see in the chat they also have some confusions about that. So if I'm driving the B car, I have to give way to the A. So I cannot go until A will pass. Okay, A have a bicycle on the right or motorcycle. I don't see what exactly it is. Doesn't matter. A cannot go because A has to give way to C. Because C is on the right hand. Correct? C has nothing on the right side. So C don't have to give any way to anyone because it's nobody here. So in that case, C can go first. After that, on the crossroad stays only B and A. As we already observed that and understand that B cannot go first because B has an A on the right side. So then, secondly, goes this car, and the last one will be the B one. That's the logic. Yeah. So A is not correct answer in that case because B cannot go before A because B has to give way to the A. So that's why A then go. So C goes, then A goes, and then B goes. Okay. I see one. So B is the correct answer. And what is the maximum allowed speed limit for the gray car here? On the first lesson, we talked that speed limit can be cancelled by the crossroad, correct? But parking area and home traffic area is not considered as a crossroad. So it means they cannot cancel the speed limit. And only crossroad with the normal street name, for example, can cancel it. So in that case, we can drive 30 only. because parking is not crossroad, so it's not cancelled. We have to continue 30. So 30 is the correct answer in that question. So all answers are clear, I hope. You can try to make this test next time once again. We mostly talked about that on the first lesson, like about definitions. Okay, guys. So next time we will check. We'll check this one. So yeah, this test is for your homework today. Yeah, so we'll check this answers next time. Until I didn't close it, maybe you still have some questions about the test number 1. I will leave it like this, so maybe if you will have it, we'll check it. So Avjal, what about the carriageways? Now it's clear for you or still not? Just let me know, because you are quiet now, I see. Okay, still, if you will have it, you can text it. I will answer them later. And we can continue, so we have one small topic to discuss today, the last one. And so let's start with the traversing level crossing, so passing the level crossing. Level crossing we call the railway crossing also. Okay, Avjal, thank you. I hope it's clear. So railway crossings, and the driver must exercise extra care when approaching a level crossing, and the driver must drive at such speed that they are able to bring the vehicles smoothly to a halt if it's needed. What I can add here from my side here, that on the exam they really are looking for you watching while you are crossing the railway, and it means that you have to watch like left and right side. Even if you have the barrier on the top position, if it's not down, even if you don't have a red light, still it's recommended and required on the exam to check if still no train coming or approaching, because how they can argue that, they say that and we say, teachers I mean, that the barrier or traffic light can be broken in some reason, and imagine if it's broken and you don't look at all left and right, and train just come, so you can have an accident. So yeah, that's why on the exam and while you're studying, try to check both directions. So in order to give way to an approaching railway vehicle, driver must stop in front of the barrier, or in the absence thereof, at least 5 meters from the first rail. So if you have a barrier, you stop in the front of the barrier. If you don't have it, you have to, let's say, imagine the 5 meters until the first rail, this one, and count this 5 meters and stop in front of it. In the event of an appropriate road sign in front of it, for example, this sign, if you have this sign, you can stop in front of this sign. It's not necessary to count this 5 meters. You can also see two different danger warning signs. This one is like this one is like this. So what is the difference? How do you think? You can even see on the picture. What do you think?
Much slower train, so still have to take care.
The most almost, but you see here we have a barrier.
Yeah.
So this sign means that you have a railway crossing, but with a barrier. It's informing you. This one is informing you that you don't have a barrier.
Yeah.
So that's the main difference. That's it.
Because the train is not fast enough, but still you have to
Mm-hmm.
be aware.
Yeah. So if a level crossing is not equipped with the barrier or light signals, like traffic lights, we mean, no driver may enter it without making sure that no railway vehicle is approaching also. So as you see, this rule applies for this sign only, so if it's no barrier. But on the exam, they still request you to make the same thing if you even have a barrier. So don't forget to check it when you are crossing it. The driver must not traverse a level crossing if they may be forced to stop on it. It means if um, imagine you get stuck in a traffic jam, and this traffic jam is laying on the railway crossing. So you have to count it, like if you see that if you continue moving and traffic jam will stop, so and you will stop on the railway crossing, so it will be a problem. So you have to avoid these kind of situations. Traverse the railway outside a level crossing. So it means you cannot cross the railways somewhere else in the forest or earth tracks or something. You have to make it in a proper place. And here it's mostly for truck drivers or other like agricultural construction tracks. So they cannot also cross the railway crossings because they can damage the rails basically. For example, tractors or like big tractors with this things like with big wheels, for example. So they cannot cross it because they can damage it. Yeah. So for example, this car is stopped, and kind of weird question. What will you do in that situation? Of course, the first thing you should do, I guess, is to exit the car as soon as possible. That's the only thing you can do. So and also now we're going to discuss some different driving modes in different driving areas. So as you see, we had quite a lot of them, like calm traffic area. So calm traffic area has its own rules, speed limits and stuff, traffic in the tunnels, in the build-up area, outside the build-up area, and traffic on the motorway. And I'm reminding you again that we don't have any motorways in Estonia at all. I guess in Norway you have them a lot, or somewhere in Germany you have, but in Estonia, in Baltic states, definitely, generally we don't have them. Mm, yeah, Abjal, I see the correct answer. Yeah, it was the correct with and without the barrier, with the signs. So, a calm traffic area is a road designed for a common traffic of pedestrians. So pedestrians mostly have priority in this area. So they can drive on the road. Kids can play on the road. So old people also can walk on the road, and you cannot disturb them basically. So you have to wait until they pass. You have to give them a way until they pass, and so on and so on. And vehicles in which the speed of vehicles is reduced by structural or other means, and where entry and exit roads are signposted as such. So as soon as you enter this area, you will see the sign. These rules will be applied, and after, if you are leaving this area, you will see the same sign but crossed, like this, for example, but calm traffic area crossed. So in calm traffic area, a pedestrian can move around and child can play in the entire calm traffic area, but they must not unnecessarily obstruct drivers also. Unnecessarily, sorry. So basically it means, of course, they can make some things on the road, but if you are a pedestrian, you also have to think about this, that you cannot do some unlogical things and just for example, sleep on the road. Yeah, so you cannot do these kind of things. But still, if you are making some maneuvers on the road as a pedestrian, you still have priority. The driver must not endanger or obstruct the pedestrian in calm traffic area. If necessary, the vehicle must be stopped, of course. And the most important things you should remember about the calm traffic area. In a calm traffic area, the speed of a power-driven vehicle must not exceed 20 kilometers per hour. So 20 is the limit. 5 kilometers per hour, it means pedestrian speed. So for example, if you have in front some people walking, you have to drive with the speed they have, even if they are walking nearby your car. You cannot just quickly pass them. The driver must not endanger or obstruct the pedestrian calm traffic area. If necessary, the vehicle must be stopped. So this rule we already know. And mostly in these areas, right-hand rule applies, because they don't have a lot of this priority signs in the areas. So these categories of power-driven vehicles may be parked in a calm traffic area. Also, only A, B, or D1. So trucks or buses cannot park in the calm traffic area also. Parking is allowed only in indicated parking spaces or in their absence on the road at the place where parking does not obstruct pedestrians and not make the traffic of other vehicles impossible. This is kind of obvious rule, I guess. A power-driven vehicle may enter a calm traffic area only for standing or parking. This is the rule that most of the people, even having a license, do not know. So you cannot enter this area, quickly pass it, and exit. So the main point of it, that you cannot use calm traffic areas for a shortcut. For example, you want to shortcut the traffic jam. You cannot use this area, because obviously you will go fast because you are leading somewhere. And the main thing here that on the exam the same. As soon as you cross this sign, you should remember, okay, now I'm in the calm traffic area, I should drive 20 kilometers per hour, not more than that, and I have to make standing or parking somewhere. And usually, of course, examiner will not tell you anything about that. So you just have to remember it, and you can make a decision where you make it. It can be even standing on the shoulder, just quick. You just get a little bit to the right, stop your car, put the handbrake, wait for some seconds, you can comment that, okay, I'm stopped, I'm in traffic area, and then continue driving. And the motor of vehicle standing or parked in a calm traffic area or residential area must not be left switched on for more than 2 minutes. So you cannot stand like this for 10 minutes, drinking coffee inside of the car and having fun with the friends. So you can turn it on only for 2 minutes. After that, you have to turn it off. So this is what about the calm traffic area. These rules, try to remember. They will be very useful for you when you are going to start driving. Even now we are going to talk about the tunnels. So even if a tunnel is lit, the vehicle must have the main beam headlamps or deep beam headlamps and the front, rear, and side position lamps and the rear registration plate lamps switched on. So you don't have to remember what kind of the lamps you should enter, like switch on, because this part of the lamps, they switch on automatically as soon as you put on the main beams, or we can call headlamps easily. So as soon as your headlamps on, all the other lights and registration plate lights, they turn on automatically. So this is the main rule in whole Europe. So try to remember, as soon as you enter this tunnel, you have to switch on the high beams. You cannot use daylights, for example. Yeah. So if traffic is stopped in a tunnel, this distance between the stopped vehicles must be at least 5 meters. For example, if it's a traffic jam. So distance have to be 5 meters at least. I guess it's very obvious why you should do that, because it's a lot of gases inside of the tunnel. So, and try to make bigger distance so these gases will not go inside of your car quickly. A driver may stop or park a vehicle in a tunnel only in the event of danger or an emergency stopping. For example, engine is broken, tire is broken, I have a headache, temperature, anything. In that situations, I can make stop. If you just need to make a call, for example, you cannot make a stop. It's not emergency. In such an event, if possible, the driver must use a special designed area. Usually it's marked like this, SOS. These rules also try to remember what exactly you cannot do in a tunnel. So in a tunnel, it's prohibited to reverse, make a U-turn, stop or park outside designed areas. Designed area, again, we just mentioned, it's SOS areas. Keep the motor of the vehicle running in the event of lasting traffic obstacle. So these things should remember. Traffic obstacle is it's again a traffic jam. So if you are obviously if you see that you get stuck in the traffic jam and it's not moving at all, then turn off the engine, because these gases are very harmful for the human. So finally, motorway. We talked about that a little bit in the beginning on the first lesson. So it's a specially designed road for and built for the traffic of parking vehicles only. It means that basically pedestrians, cyclists, trams, any railways, you will not see them on the motorways ever. So it's only for the vehicles, for the cars, and that's it. So special designed area. And of course, on the motorways, maybe you know, for example, even in Germany, some motorways don't have any speed limit, so you can go as high as you want. The only restriction they have that you have to use only some special lanes for that. You cannot use all lanes for driving with no limits. So, and on the motorway, it's prohibited to walk as a pedestrian, walk with a pet or animal, or ride a cycle, moped, or vehicle with design speed under 40 kilometers per hour. So if you're having a moped and you want to use a motorway, but your moped cannot allow you go more than 40, you cannot use the motorway. You have to use some side roads. The same on the motorway, the same like in the tunnel. You cannot stop or park outside of designed area. So you cannot just stop on the shoulder, like on a casual highway. So drive a category C powertrain vehicle or a combination of vehicle longer than 7 meters on a lane other than the two right-hand lanes of the motorway that has 3 or more lanes. So it means, if we simplify this text and rule, if you are driving trucks, or if you are driving a car, even the B car, and you are driving it with the trailer, you cannot use maximum left lanes. You can use only first 2 lanes on the right. That's it. So that's the term. And make a U-turn, drive over the dividing strip, and at any place where it's disrupted. So it's prohibited to make a U-turn, cross the dividing strip, and so on and so on. And of course, it's prohibited to reverse. You cannot reverse on the motorway. Try to remember these prohibitions, because they also can be asked on the test. They like these questions. I don't know why we even don't have this in Estonia, but still they ask it. So, traffic on a motorway. So if the speed limit is over than 90 kilometers and you have an emergency stopping, you have to put an emergency lamps on. And of course, you have to try to remove your car from the carriageway. If it's impossible to remove the vehicle from the carriageway, a warning triangle must be placed on the road at least 100 meters rearward from the vehicle. A warning triangle, maybe you have seen ever this reflecting triangles. Every car have it. So if it's not possible to remove your car from the motorway, put this triangle, and you have to count at least 100 meters from your car, and then you can put it. In the city, by the way, if you have this kind of situation, it has to be 50 meters.
You have to wear reflection vests too.
Yeah, yeah,
How come you get 500 euros fine if you don't wear that too?
yeah, that's correct. So yeah, this is the rule. No, sorry, I a little bit told you. 50 is on the highway, but 25 is 25 meters is on the in the city roads. So 100 on motorway, 50 on the casual highway, and 25 in the city. So what rules do you know on the outside of the build-up area? Which rules can be applied if you are driving outside? Actually, even last time we talked about that in the lesson. But maybe let's start with the speed limit. So what is the speed limit if you are outside, not motorway? Okay, let's say what is the casual speed in the city then? Default speed in the city area. If you don't have any limitations in the city, by default it's 50, right? If you are outside of the city, then it's 90. Yeah, Avjal has the correct answer. So 90 kilometers per hour if you are out of the city. This is the first rule. Yeah. Yeah, Nilufar also answered correctly. In the city, it's 50. Yeah. What about other rules? Maybe something about cancellations. Maybe if you remember from the last time that giveaway sign and stop sign can cancel the speed limit if you are driving on the highway out of the build-up area. So, for example, if you have 50 in some reason on the highway, then you approach to some road or roundabout and you have giveaway sign. So after this giveaway sign, you can continue driving with 90. But please remember that still on the highway, crossroads do not cancel the speed limit. Only in the build-up area it can cancel. So outside of the built-up area, giveaway sign can cancel and stop sign can cancel it. So let's observe the roads we have. So these highways, driving only in the right lane. It's one more rule. Basically, on the highway, if we are driving, we cannot use the left lane. We can use it only if we want to overtake someone or if the right lane is totally busy. For example, a lot of trucks are moving in the same time, so we can use left lane. Otherwise, we have to use the right one. And also in the exam, they can sometimes catch you on this. If you are driving in the left lane in the city, then you cross this sign and you still continue driving in the left city. And at this moment, after some time, if examiners see that you don't change it, exam will be failed because you cannot use the left lane with no reason. You should automatically change it to the right. Separation distance, minimum 3 seconds between cars. Or if I say in other way, if your speed limit is 90, the separation distance has to be equal with your speed limit, so 90 meters. In the city, if you are driving, separation distance has to be half of your speed limit. So if you are having 50 by default, then it's 25 meters. And of course, you don't have to give way to the public transport. For example, in the city, if you are driving, you have to give way to the public transport if they are pulling out of the bus stop. On the highway, you don't have this rule anymore. So, also one very important rule you should remember definitely. If we have a dividing strip on the highway, we can U-turn only on the signposted place. So you see here, I have a sign, turn left or straight. Yeah, I can go from this lane, from the left lane. In that case, I can make left turn, I can make a U-turn as well, and obviously I can go straight. So I can make U-turn or left turn. This car is not having any signs, so this car cannot make a U-turn. If we consider the city driving, you can make a U-turn almost everywhere. So at least if you don't have any prohibition signs. Standing and parking permitted only on the right side of the road shoulder. So it means that if we want to park or stand our car, we can make it only on the maximum right position. We cannot use dividing strip for that. So once again, last time we talked about these areas and what exactly cancels the speed limits, for example, in the city and out of the city. So here we can observe it once again. So if you are driving in a built-up area and you have a 30 sign, don't look at this additional panel. Casual 30. Casual 30 will be finished at the first possible crossroad intersection. Or if you see the end of the build-up area sign, like this, obviously after that you can go 90, 30 is not valid anymore, to the sign that ends the restriction, for example this one. Yeah. And for the distance stated on the panel, like this, 100 meters. So these 4 rules you should remember. If you are outside of the build-up area, most of the rules are the same. Yeah, some of them. So from the sign that ends up the restriction, for a distance stated on the panel, and one rule is changed here. By sign 222 or 221 placed before the intersection. As I already mentioned before, if you see the giveaway sign or stop sign, the restriction will be cancelled. For example, speed limit restriction. Is this part clear for you? Okay, good. So here, one more second. Here we should also mention stopping distance. We have to split the driver reaction in 3 phases, or this stopping process in 3 phases. Evaluating the situation. In this phase, the driver has to evaluate the situation on the road. No rush or panic, this may only harm. So it means if you see the obstacle, for example, accidentally you have an animal on the road. So your brain is realizing this situation, and it takes some time, obviously. So of course, you have to understand one thing, that you will not brake immediately after you see the obstacle. Your brain will think what to do and react after some time. Usually, according to the experiments that have been made by some scientists and stuff, brain makes some decision and overthink around 2 seconds. So it takes 2 seconds to make a decision. So yeah, this is the decision making. So drivers should decide what actions are needed to prevent a car crash. And after that comes the acting. So driver performs the required action, which is in his opinion the most suitable in this situation. And in that case also, if you are acting, you are trying to push the brakes, right? Brakes also cannot react immediately. It also takes around 1 or 2 seconds to react. So basically now you have 4 seconds or 5 seconds and doing nothing, basically, not reacting at all. And I will remind you that if you are driving 90, if you are driving 90, in 1 second you pass 25 meters. So imagine if basically now in total you have 4 seconds, so it's 100 meters, no acting, totally. So it's kind of crazy numbers. So in this 100 meters you can smash anything. And here we can see the distance. If I sharply brake on 50, it will be 28 meters. If I sharply brake on 90, it will be 70 meters. The stopping distance totally. So these are the numbers. And that's why this this separation distance is very important to hold it. Sometimes you can see that cars are driving very close to each other in the city, so it's not very correct. Imagine if you need to react in some moment and the car in front of you having like 10 meters or something, but your braking distance will be 28, so you definitely will smash it. So that's why minutes between cars. So under normal conditions, the time required to cover the distance between vehicles moving after one another must be at least 2 seconds on roads in built-up areas and last at least 3 seconds on roads outside of the built-up areas. Maybe you will ask what means this 2 and 3, 4 seconds. Basically, if you have some vehicle in front and how to count these seconds? Yeah, this is usually the question. Try to find some sign on the road. For example, speed limit sign. So as soon this car in front of you cross the speed limit sign, you start counting like 1, 2, 3, and after 4 or 3 seconds, you will reach this sign. So this is the distance. It means it's okay. If you cross the sign in 1 second and you are driving in the city, so means distance is quite small. And once again, it's the minimum one. Of course, you should keep it better, especially in winter time. In winter time, it can be doubled or even more. So any questions maybe still now? Sorry? Understand. Clear, yeah? And maybe chat have some questions about that. Because this is the last slide I see. Yeah. So if you still have any questions, you can ask it here. And if not, then thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. And hope more or less things were clear. So for the next time, try to make this second test that you have in your homework. Check the videos also, because the next test will be asking you some questions from your homework videos about traffic lights, about traffic regulator and stuff like that. So try to check the homework first and then you can make a test. Okay, I guess more or less clear. So then I will finish this broadcast. Thank you for watching again. I think I still will see your messages here even if I stop it. So you can ask me something. Yeah, and see you. So see you next Wednesday. Bye bye.